Good afternoon, each and every one of us. We are all welcome to today's edition of Sir Tim's Media Weekly Talk Show. If you're joining us this afternoon, just tell us where you are joining from. You can put it on the chat box. Thank you very much for joining. For those already joining, thank you for joining us this afternoon. You're all welcome to the weekly edition of Sir Tim's Media. Last week, as we know, we talked about the power of preparation 1.0, and we are opportunity to have two wonderful guests in our midst, and they were scholars in the various fields, and they were here to actually talk about what preparation entails and what it actually means. So this week, we are looking at a very important topic also, something that concerns each and every one of us, and it's something that we actually need in our everyday life. So we'll be looking at a very important topic. I will have a wonderful guest that will be with us today. With time, we are going to know our guest. Okay, thank you very much, Bosu. Thank you for joining from Lagos. Thank you very much for joining us. So we'll be looking at a theme today, discovering your purpose. I tell you, we're going to talk about what purpose actually means and how to discover your purpose. As an individual, as a student, in our present world, we discover that a lot of persons, they're just living a normal life without knowing what it means to discover purpose, what it means, how to even discover purpose in life. So we'll be looking at that topic today, and we're going to be bringing our guest. But before we bring our guest in, please, if you're joining us, just tell us where you are joining from. We're really happy that you're here this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very, very much. So just tell us where you are joining from. So this afternoon, we're having a guest, and this time, okay, Stephen from UK, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be having one of our guests this evening, and she is a scholar in her field too, and she's passionate about taking up young people. So we'll be bringing up our guest now. We have with us this evening in our Sir Tim's Media Studio, Lydia Gilantikri. So, Miss Lydia, you're welcome this evening to our Sir Tim's Media Talk Show. Good evening, Lydia Gilantikri.
Good evening, Timothy. How are you? Thank you.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We want you to, first of all, I want to appreciate you for joining us. Despite your busy schedule, you still find that time to join us this evening. So our audience, they are happy you're here, and we trust God that this evening we're going to be actually talking about what it means to discover purpose and how to discover your purpose in life. So can you please introduce yourself so that our audience, they will know you better?
I think you've done that already.
No, we have to actually know the person we're talking with. So our audience want to know you. So can you please introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Lydia Gilantikri. I'm a lady. I'm Christian, passionate about a lot of things, purpose, personal development, making a difference. I'm the last of 5. I'm the last born, and I hold on to that last born card and use it. A funny story. Some years ago, I remember, I think I found out that my mom miscarried after me. I was like, Mommy, what were you looking for? I mean, you have 5. What were you looking for? I was contending for my last born position. Like, see, nothing is to disrupt it. But that was just an lighter note. But anyway, yes, that's basically who I am. If you want to know more, maybe directed questions. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction. Please, I think I would love to inform our audience, our guest for tonight, she doesn't like hyping herself. So she's just trying to be humble. So I think probably with time we'll know the person we are actually speaking with this evening. So our guest this evening is a doctorate student, and you know what that means. So she's done with her undergraduate masters, and now she's currently doing her research. So you know the person we're talking about. We are talking with a scholar and also someone that is passionate about the lives of young people. So Lydia, can you tell us what do you understand by purpose? Wait, look at the topic this evening, discovering your purpose. So what do you understand by the word purpose?
Purpose is the intent for which something has been designed or made or created. So when you when something exists, it is for a reason, and the reason for which that thing exists is what is called purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Like we've seen cases of young people. Before we have to look at the lives of young people, you know, we have done a little research about young people. We've seen that a lot of them, they're just living a normal life without knowing what their purpose on earth is. So before we look at that particular area, I believe you as our guest this evening, you have discovered your purpose. So, how has been the journey so far? The journey of growing up and also discovering your purpose as one that is passionate about the lives of young persons. So, how has been the journey so far?
It's been as a journey. A typical journey is, will I say, unpredictable. Yeah, there's some things that are within your control and some things that are not within your control. So, growing up, I was born and bred in Maiduguri, Borno State. I'm Margi, by the way, from Borno State, Northeast Nigeria. I did my primary and secondary school there, and then I went on to the sixth form and then undergrad and a master's, and then went home and served and worked, and then back to this. I was as I was thinking about this topic, and I was thinking about the different things that sort of prepare somebody for life. I remembered my proprietress, the owner of my primary school. I spoke with her in December, and she passed on sadly, I think
Oh,
last month. Yeah, and I was just thinking about how, you know, purpose is interdependent, right? Because this woman, our school wasn't the biggest school, it wasn't the most renowned school, but she poured her heart into us. She groomed and coached us as much as she could. We had teachers, but she always was involved in as much, and she would be like, sit down and talk like somebody that is in CNN. She'd take us to NTA Maiduguri then and put us in front of her. We'll be singing songs or doing presentations, take us to competitions with schools that were bigger and had a whole lot more people, to give us things to learn and recite in front of parents. And also from then, she was grooming our ability to just be out there, interact with people, meet people from different schools, talk. Like we'll have talk shows. This is primary school that I'm talking of. So by the grace of God, that I'm sitting here doing this is not just something that I've just started now. Somebody groomed us into that from the time that we were children.
yeah,
So it just shows us that the journey of purpose is interdependent. A lot of people
absolutely.
are going to pour into your life as you grow. So that's part of it. I thank God that I had a very good foundation in that school, and also in family. My family is very, very supportive. When I had a lot of dreams that were maybe a bit crazy, well, out of the norm anyway, I never really had. There were some discouragements from some people, but I think once people see that you get on board, that they would once they see that you're serious about it, they get on board. So I do have a very, very supportive family. So I didn't have that. I didn't have much to battle with in terms of negativity or opposition as much. Maybe that would be different from other people's cases. So I had a very supportive network growing up, and I was quite adventurous. So uh having a lot of things that I could do. I wasn't somebody that if I want to do something, I'll do it. You won't discourage me and all. I just need to get myself to believe that I'm going to do it. So yeah, I was interested in quite a lot of things, and so Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that was it basically for me. And on discovering purpose, there's quite a lot that having dreams and having goals, it really helped. But then it's not every dream and goal that you have that always comes to pass. And there are some things that you have to drop along in the journey. But anyway, as we delve more into that. So I think that summarizes a
Thank you
bit.
very much for that wonderful answer. I was just trying to follow you up how you were trying to explain how the journey has been so far. And if I know very well, you did actually tell us the challenges you faced. I guess there'll be challenges along the line trying to discover your purpose, trying to know your line in life. So, what were your challenges that you faced trying to discover purpose?
Um Doing things that are out of the box, especially in if you don't have such examples. One person that I found really inspiring was Dr. Benjamin Carson.
Okay.
I read his books as a teenager, Gifted Hands, Think Big, and The Big Picture. And I was fascinated by how the brain works. And it got me a lot interested into that. It's still part of, it's kind of how the brain works is related to what I'm doing now. But then that's the kind of influence that I want. And then imagine saying that you wanted to be a professor, a doctor of a neurosurgeon, pediatric neurosurgeon. Imagine saying that when you've not really seen a physical example
Uh,
close on. So and then I had this dream of wanting to study in the UK, and I didn't have I had family members that had done that. Yeah, but not my immediate family. Let's say
yeah.
like my brothers or sisters and all. And I had that dream, and I just remember when we were preparing for WIAC, and I was like, oh, I want to go to the UK. Oh, us is Unimate and all that we were going to. So it didn't, and people would be like, just stop dreaming, just be just stop dreaming, just be humble, or just do like the rest of us, Jare. We're all going to go to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I said, I had a very, very supportive family. My uncle, in particular, he did a whole lot to support me, my uncle
Yeah.
and my auntie, and then my parents too. But like my uncle was very, very instrumental in me coming over. So, yes, I had the challenges of, sort of being a pioneer, should I say, when you're in a place and you're the first person to want to do such a thing. If you don't have people with similar experience, they may not just catch on, they will not see what you're saying. And um that's, sometimes having encouragement from people around. But if you have people that have not really experienced what is it that you're dreaming about, then they may not really get on board. But then I've always been sort of a focused and determined person, and if I want to do something, I'll get it done. So by the grace of God, obviously. So yes, sometimes challenges of being a pioneer in some things, doing things that you've not really seen somebody has done that in maybe your closest sphere of influence. So yeah, somebody
Thank
says, so
you.
you're in the health sector. Yes, I studied medical engineering for my first degree and my master's, and my PhD is in biomedical engineering. So yes, I'm in the health engineering sector.
Okay. Thank you very much. You actually dealt with those challenges that you faced. So, as a human, how were you able to uh, overcome those challenges? How were you able to overcome those challenges? People trying to discourage you, trying to probably make you lose that passion that you have in trying to discover your purpose. So, how were you able to overcome those challenges?
As an individual, I'm very determined, and if I want to do something,
Uh,
I think in this day and age, we'll call it coconut head. But I was a very determined person, and this is my big sister that is online that said, "You need me." Yes, she's one of my destiny helpers. I always say that, when people are praying for destiny helpers, and it's great. We do have people from outside that help us, but my destiny helpers, a lot of them are my family,
mm,
my parents, my brothers, my sisters, my uncle, my auntie, my cousins. Everybody comes on board. And this my sister that is online here. I can have the craziest idea, the craziest thing, but she will support me.
wow.
Not in a way, not like support me foolishly, not in doing
Okay.
foolishness, but she's somebody that like even when you go amongst her friends and people in her sphere of influence, anytime you see her, she's always encouraging. So I always had those people that were leading me on. I always had, so I call them cheerleaders. So yes, even when opposition comes and discouragement and all, I always had a supportive network and family, and I'm so thankful for that.
Okay, your family supported you. That's a great point that I want to actually also deal with this evening. In a situation whereby people doesn't have family that support them, I think I've seen people where they have dreams, they have a passion for a particular thing. They want to actually discover their purpose, but their family is a major challenge for them. I guess we have people watching us online now that are having that same challenge. Those that the family they are not supporting them, what do you think they should do?
Okay. I'm not somebody that encourages a rebellious attitude, so you don't need to come against them with a rebellious attitude. However, my favorite quote by Bishop Oyedepo is this: you are absolutely responsible for the outcome of your life.
Mm,
If if sometimes it is situation that allows family to oppose you. So for example, you're done with primary school, you're done with secondary school, you're done with university, but maybe you're still staying at home and you're dreaming, and maybe you're just staying at home and waiting for the next best thing to come, obviously because they're feeding you and giving you sort of a room and making you comfortable. Then if they think that you're being too comfortable and not being too adventurous, they would want to dictate a whole lot of things that happen in your life. Sometimes you just need to take a step of faith and get out of your comfort zone. So if you're in a position that by God's grace you've been educated to a certain level, but you don't just want to launch out of the unknown. Why? Because of the uncertainties. You still want to you still want to stick with the comfort of being where you are. Then you may not really have much of a say. You know how they say familiarity breeds contempt. I'm not saying that your family is contempt against you or something. No, but I'm saying that sometimes you just need to get out of that place and go to a place and just try and be independent in and live life just away from family and just try and find your foot and folding. There's just something about stepping out. If you remember the story of the four lepers in the scriptures, you know, they said that if we sit here, we'll die. If we go, we'll die. They were facing a famine situation. And what did they decide to do? They decided to live where they were and went on. And what God worked with them as they went on, that he caused what I think is it the Assyrians to hear that it was the sound of a mighty chariot, and they left. And then they found food, and the famine ended in line with prophecy. So the prophecy came by the prophet that by the next day there was going to be an abundance of food. But four lepers had to step out. So sometimes you just have to leave that comfort zone. And this is for somebody, maybe that is an adult. As a teenager, you're not living anywhere. Stay, learn, and grow. Before somebody said, I say you should be independent, and they will I'm encouraging. No, that's not what I'm saying. But as an adult, yeah, once you reach a certain point, please be willing to leave where you are. Sometimes being out of your comfort zone would cause you to be creative, would cause you to begin to think of things. Now, let me share like a personal story. After I finished serving, I interned at an NGO, and after that period, I was like, no, I'm not going to continue here. So that time, anytime I had errands to run, I used to go with my documents in the car. So one day I remembered, I was like, do something, Lydia, do something. So I remembered I was praying about the job situation. I remember the link that I shared on Facebook. I had deactivated my Facebook account then, but I reactivated it and went and found the link and called somebody who told me, okay, go to this place. And when I went, what I was inquiring about, I didn't find out. But then I got linked to somebody else that linked me to somebody else and eventually led to the job that I was in before coming here. So if I had stayed, if I had not done anything, where would I have been? I remember when I was organizing a career seminar in 2019 across different schools in Abuja. I was living in Ilorin, and I tried as much as possible to establish contacts with people in Abuja, schools in Abuja. but it didn't work out as I turned out. And I was to start it like today or this week. Do you know what I did? I took the letters and just entered the taxi. And anywhere that I saw that there were schools, I dropped. I went and introduced myself. I dropped the letters. Look, I want to hold a career seminar in your school. I dropped maybe 8 different letters or so. I can't remember. I was able to hold them in 4 schools in Abuja within 1 or 2 weeks. So do something. Don't just be sitting down sometimes and just think that something is just going to land on you. Sometimes you have to step out. Um, Boson said a major point made by Tim. What advice would you give someone who is now an adult with no immediate family support and still trying to find out why they're here? Okay, uh, if that would that person have any friends that they can go and live with, that is a way. Um, being when I spoke about the supportive family, right?
Yeah.
The point that Tim brought about is if that person doesn't have a supportive family, and I said that they can be independent and move away. But if you don't find that before you move away, if you still have to be in the position where your family is, at least find clarity there. Find clarity before moving out. You know, when you're stepping out, if the stepping out advice applies, especially if maybe you feel you're being um you're being choked on and you cannot even think for yourself or no. But even if you're going out is for the purpose of discovering, finding some clarity. Who am I? Where am I going? What do I want to do with my life? So it's not just an aimless moving about, just okay, let me get
Yeah.
out of these people that are just talking and disturbing my life. It is for a point, it is towards an end, it is for a purpose. So not just move away directionless because you don't want to be told what to do. No,
Yeah.
it's moving towards getting direction and moving in a place that you can begin to think and search and come up with the blueprint. I hope that
Okay.
answers.
I think we have to be more practical now because you we have actually talked about yourself and how you were able to probably how the journey has been so far. So, in a case where imagine somebody growing up, you were born and you just grew up in a family where everybody is just like that, and there is no nobody's trying to uh, increase your passion. Nobody's trying to tell you what it means to discover purpose. Nobody's trying to just help you at all. So how do such a person discover his or her purpose in life?
Okay, remember first that you're absolutely responsible for the outcome of your life. So,
Okay.
not having the example, the immediate example, does not necessarily mean that you will not discover your purpose. So, just get that out of your mind that because you don't have that immediate example, don't see it as a writing off. Now, one thing you have to understand when I talked about what the meaning of a purpose is the reason for a thing, the reason for which why something exists, right?
Yeah.
I am an engineer, and for everything that you're going to do, it must have a reason. For example, look at
Absolutely.
these airports now. The purpose for which it was made is for me to be able to connect wirelessly via Bluetooth and hear what you're saying. So the person that designed this had that in mind.
Mind.
The
Yeah.
person that designed you, the person that created you, had something in mind for you.
Mm.
So you are supposed to go and download that and run with it.
Yes, I absolutely understand that.
Yes. So what
You're
are the
trying to
steps, right?
yeah, the person that created you has
Yeah.
some things in mind. So
Yes.
how do people actually get to, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, how do people actually
I
get
do.
to
I do. I was
discover this purpose
Yeah,
about their
sure. The
life?
same way you discover the purpose for your life is the same way that you find out God's will concerning any situation. First of all, you ask. Simple. What am I here for? You ask God, what am I here
Okay.
for? It could just be a simple prayer. God, what am I here for? And God is faithful that when you start making such inquiries, He will bring people and situations and circumstances your way to be able to notice that. Could just ask, what am I here for? You begin to observe, who are you drawn to? What is it that you're seeing? There are some people that when you hear them talk or share their stories, you begin to see, oh, I want to do that. Actually, there's just something about them that draws me. Keep
Absolutely.
narrowing down. What is that something? Or look at it in the environment. Is there something that you find very, very annoying that you wish somebody can do something about? Is it you're always, for example, talking politics and you wish XYZ could do something? So maybe there's something in politics for you. Now, would it have to be in terms of you being that politician, or you being in governance in such a way that you would influence that policy? So you can just ask God simply in prayer. You look at the potentials that have been deposited in you. For example, I think you did mass comm, right? But
Yeah.
even if you didn't do the mass comm, do you think it is something, engaging people in conversation is something that you do? Yes. So sometimes, like, how did I discover that I had something for young people and career? I was always talking to them, and I must always find a way of linking it to career. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Why? And I always ask why. So yeah, you find out the same way that you find out God's will about anything is the same way you find out about your purpose. You can find it through prayer. You can
Mm.
find it by observation as you read about purposeful people and you see who you're drawn to. You could look into your potentials. What are the things that have been deposited in me? How can I refine them? And sometimes it's not just potential. Sometimes you have the deposit and you need to become skilled. You need to be an expert. And then sometimes you just have to try some things. You serve. Sometimes it's in service that you find out that, no, I don't want this. This is what I thought this was, but it's not. For example, some people thought they wanted to be medical doctors
Absolutely.
until they went and saw blood and were like, this is not for me. So sometimes, and then talk to a range of people, so do your research. Don't just think something. For some people are very lucky that purpose just comes to them maybe via a prophecy.
Mm.
Somebody just tells them, and that's the blueprint that's their sorted. For the rest of us, it would involve research. There has to be a deliberate search. So it can come via prayer, it can come via maybe a prophecy, as I said, it can come via just serving. As you're serving, you find out this is what I'm meant to do. I love this. I'm going to continue. This is not what I want. I thought it was going to be this, but it is not. Look at the things that have been deposited in your potential, the things that you could do with ease, the things
Yeah.
that you have an interest in that you can develop and become skilled and have expertise in. Look at the things around too. What is it that you wish that somebody could do something about? And sometimes, before you walk into your purpose, you may have to do something. Like sometimes you need to earn money for the bills until you're at such a place that you are working in your purpose. So it's not, purpose is a journey. So don't
Okay.
always think that
Mm.
it's okay, I'm passionate about NGOs and all. Yes, but before you get that NGO job, maybe you need to demonstrate expertise and competence in a certain part of your life. So before you reach that point, bills need to be paid and you need to grow. So purpose is a journey. Yeah. Don't just see it as it's just one thing that I've reached. No, there's a whole lot that is involved in it. But just to reiterate and summarize the discovery part, you could discover it in prayer. You can discover it maybe as you read the scriptures, you begin to see somebody that what they're doing, you feel like there's just something about them that resonates with you. When you hear people talk, some people you're drawn to, some people you're put up from. You look at your potential, the skills, the talents, the things that you find easy to do, or the things that you feel you could work on. Talent, skills can be refined from what is deposited, but they can also be acquired.
Okay.
And then also you look at your environment. So there must be a deliberate search.
Okay. Thank you very much. If I get you absolutely well, you've talked about what you actually love doing. Can I be right to say that career people absolutely, at times, I personally, I studied mass communication, and along the line I discovered that mass com can be like a kind of a career that, or it's something that I just studied, but that's not what I'm passionate about. So what's the place of career in purpose discovery?
The place of career in purpose discovery, your career might not actually be your purpose. It could
Okay.
be it could be related,
Okay.
Or it could just be that God has allowed that career to be the point for which you learn some
Mm.
skills
Yeah,
really
that's it.
your
Yeah.
purpose. For
Yeah.
example, some people would say that I don't see the point of school. Why should I go to school? But then even the discipline of waking up, the discipline of studying for exams, if you didn't have those associated deadlines and those skills that are required, do you think you would have acquired some of those things? So for some people, their career is related to their purpose. For others, their career is such that the skills and the network and
Yes.
there are things that are related to their purpose that they're to acquire from that career. So it
Okay.
depends. As a purpose is personal,
Okay.
so yes, so you cannot. It's not a one room, one size fits all. That's why it's being said. So for some people,
Absolutely.
their career is actually their purpose. For some,
Yes.
it is sort of a step in the right direction. For some, it would be their career journey, but it's in different paths and in different places. But then when you look at the big picture, you would be able to paint a picture. For example, if I ask you about David, what would you say was the purpose of David?
Purpose of David.
Yeah,
Yeah. Probably to become a king.
is that all he was?
No.
But
You
why
know,
did you say he was a king?
uh,
Just
he
that.
was anointed to do that.
He was anointed to be a king, yeah. But the path before which he became a king, there was a preparation. He
Absolutely.
kept
Yeah.
his father's sheep, so he learned management and he
Mm.
learned how to fight battles. So as a king, he needed his kingdom to be secure and he needed to know how to lead people. Did you know that the people that David led that became his mighty men were people that were worthless? But he
Mm.
coached them and they were the people that helped. He never lost a battle. Why? Because during the times of obscurity when he was a teenager, he was referred to as a warrior, as a mighty man. His subsequent journey was to be a king,
Mm.
but before then, he started with keeping sheep. And even when he was called, and apart from that, he was also a psalmist. The fact that he was a psalmist and he was skilled in playing instrument was what brought him into the house of Saul. So when the evil spirit came, when he played, what the evil spirit left Saul, but him coming into proximity to Saul, he began to saw how a kingdom is run. He began to saw rulership from the house of a
Mm.
king.
Mm.
So all those experiences, he was able to gain them. So even though ultimately he was a king, he was also a psalmist and he was also a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one thing. There were several things, and when we look down into his story, we see how the different parts all come together to make up who he is. And he was who the Bible refers to and says that David, when he had served God for his generation, slept. It's not everybody that had that. Saul was a king, but we did not hear the Bible testify to him that he served God in his generation.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope that.
Thank you very much for that question. If I think my audience they are really happy with what has been happening so far. Okay, we've looked at the how will I put it now? We'll look at the young ones, like how they should discover their purpose and the likes in a situation whereby one is already an adult and the person still I think I've actually I've discussed with some person recently and I discovered that they are an adult, but they still don't know what it means by purpose discovery. They don't even know the reason why they're on earth. If you tell them, dude, they'll tell you, I don't have passion for this, I don't have passion for that. So, how an adult that has not discovered purpose yet, what should that person do? And secondly, is age a barrier to purpose discovery?
The simple. Anyway, let me acknowledge my big brother. You know, when I told you that my family is very supportive, yeah, you see my
Very,
sister
very. I'm seeing
on
them
the line
already. Yeah.
and my brother on the line. So I'm going to acknowledge them. Yes. Is age a barrier to purpose? No, it's not. We have
Mm.
examples of who is this? Is it Cornel Sanders? Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. When did they start? I think he was over 80, if I'm not mistaken. So We have Kentucky Fried Chicken everywhere in the world. As far as I know, we have it in Nigeria, we have it here in Glasgow, and all of that. But he didn't start that at that time, so age is not a barrier for an
Mm,
adult that feels that they shouldn't write themselves off. It's still the same thing. Go back to your creator. Go back and begin to see, what am I equipped for? My potential, the problem that I see in the problems I see in the environment. What can I solve? What can I do? What skill can I gain to serve? What skill can I use? How can I serve my generation? What is it about? If I have to, if I die now, what do I want to be remembered for? What do I want my legacy to be in? As you ask that question, I told you God will bring opportunities your way for establishing clarity, and you can walk in purpose. So they should still go back and begin to say, okay, I am designed for purpose. I'm created for a reason. So what is it that I've been equipped with? The potentials, the skills that I've, and they even have an added advantage of being skilled in one thing or the other by years of their by virtue of their years of experience. So there's no age that you could say that I believe that it's done for. My mom is in her 70s and my mom is still talking about purpose, God's purpose for her lives. The woman has grandchildren and she's still talking about it. So what are we saying? As long as you're still alive, there's a reason for which you exist. Now, since purpose is a journey, there are some things that are highlighted at different parts and areas of your life.
mm,
When David was young, he was keeping sheep. At another point, before he became king, he was training men. But at a point, do you remember when he went to battle and they said, look, we don't need you to go to battle, stay, because you would what? Derail us, because he had gotten old. So the fact that he was at that point, so I think maybe his role just changed to more of administrative instead of being on the offensive at the battlefront. So as an adult, for example, your purpose could be in mentoring those people that are coming after you. David's mighty men were worthless men before, but he coached them. So why don't you begin to coach people? Why don't you begin to um, empower young people? And as you do that, with the skills and all that you've gained, you'll probably be able to chart a course, even if it's to create a course and put it on Udemy. XYZ things that I wish I've learned, or a blog post on Medium or something. There is something that you could do to contribute to keep giving back. So there's no age barrier to purpose. And as an adult, don't feel that maybe you'd wasted some years and think that no, you can always go back. What am I created for? What am I designed for? And how can I use how can I use the experiences and all that I've learned to continue living a life that at the end of the day I'm going to thank God that I've really run my race. Sorry, I got distracted because of my sister. I
okay.
acknowledged you
Yeah.
even before my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stephen is asking. He said, "How did you discover your purpose?"
Mine.
Yeah.
Okay. See how I was trying to dodge personal questions, but yeah, as I said, it was a journey. So at first, it was just about me, what I wanted to do with my life. I always knew I wanted to make a difference. I always knew I wanted to make an impact. But on growing and learning that, look, God had a design for me. And then would I had to come to the point that, okay, am I willing to come to the position that I would let go? And I had to. When you want to walk with God, you have to come to the point that you have to die. Jesus said that except a corn of wheat dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, what? It grows up and begins to bear fruit. So I came to the point that I had to die to my desires, die to my dreams, die to my goals. Why? Because I came to the point of acknowledging that God has a plan and a purpose for me. And you know the interesting thing? When I died and I was like, God, here is a clean slate. Let us start this. Do you know that some of the things that I actually wanted to do, I am doing them? But I
Mm,
had to acknowledge that, to come to that point of consecration and acknowledge that even if you don't want me to do this, I am okay with that. And then the things that I thought that I may have to throw away, no, he rebirthed them. Why? Because there are potentials that he has put in me. There are things that he has put in me, but I had to be willing to acknowledge that he had a say because I had accepted him to rule over my life. Do you get? So I had to personally come to the point that I would die, and not die literally, but die to my desires and my goals.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then he allowed things, he germinated such. I allowed him to grow what he wanted to grow. And then I even began to see more fruition from the potentials that he has deposited in me. And then I began to also purposely gain skills that are related to that, refine my journey, because you're not going to be an expert in anything. Refine my journey by the things that I know, by the potential that I have, and by the place that I want to make an impact in. And then it's a journey. And then now, when I'm making my dreams and my goals and making my plans, I don't make it just for me. I
Mm.
go to God and we plan together. You're on mute. And we plan and we work together. So yeah, I think that is, and I'm still discovering more. Why? Because it's in phases. So for some things, I am pertinent to do them at this time, and for some things at that time. So because it's a journey, there are some things that become more important and are highlighted at a certain part. It's just like school, isn't
Yeah,
it? Before you graduate at the end of maybe 300 or 400 level, third or fourth year, you have to pass first year, you have to pass second year. So there's a lot of growth.
absolutely.
And when you're growing, you're shedding some things. Things are being cut off. You're acquiring some things until you get to that point. So growing never stops.
Okay.
So that
Thank you very
is
much for how far you have answered our questions. We have a lot of questions that is still awaiting our guests this evening. But before we look at other questions, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Satims Media, our Facebook page, Satims Media, and also turn on your notification button so that you can also get more videos whenever we release any. Before we look at the other aspects of purpose discovery, we just have to go on a 30 seconds break. Join us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us once again. We'll have to bring in our guest again. So, without wasting much of our time, uh, Stephen has also asked again. He said, "Please, how does purpose come? Does it come like a burden, like a desire, like a feeling, like a dream, like a revelation, like things of that?" So, Lydia, how does purpose come?
it can come like one of those things that you mentioned, and it can come like all of them.
Okay.
It can come like a burden. You've identified something that you feel you can do something about. It can come about like a desire. It can come about like a burden and a desire together. It can come like a dream. Some people have a dream, and Joseph, remember, he had a dream that the sun and moon and the stars bowed down to
Yeah.
him, signifying his parents. Or not, it can come like a dream, can come like a revelation. So it can come as either one of those things, or it can come as a combination of all.
Mm,
It may
mm.
not come just once. It is progressive. So it can come in bits and pieces. So, but at the end of the day, you would see that they fit together. It's just like a puzzle. Unless all the pieces fit together, it doesn't look complete. So it can come independent as just a single part of what distance you mentioned, or it can come as a combination.
Then how do people start once you discover your purpose? It's one thing to discover your purpose, and it's another thing for you to take a bold step and start up. So how do people start whenever they discover their purpose?
Okay, let's say for example, I discovered that my purpose, or part of the journey of my purpose, involves me being a medical doctor. What's
Okay.
the first thing that I would do? If I'm in secondary school in Nigeria, for example, I would ensure that I'm in science class, before I ensure that I'm in science class, I must ensure that in my junior exams I've passed it. And then I'll go to science class. I must ensure that I get the required grades both for JAMB and WIAC and pass it and get into medical school. So it's just like that. When you've discovered your purpose, begin to think, okay, from where I am, what do I need to do?
Okay.
If it relates to school, what do I need to do? If it relates to acquire a skill acquisition,
Mhm.
okay, where do I need to acquire these skills? Do I have the finances to acquire these skills? If I don't, what can I do now to acquire those finances? Can I be sponsored? If I can't be sponsored, can I offer to volunteer at a place that they do this in exchange for being taught? Or can I get a part time work somewhere to equip me with the finances that I need to go to get the skills that I need for my own purpose? For some, it's straightforward. For some, there's a bit of a zigzag, but at the end of the day, you would get to that point. So when you know what it is, then you begin to map a path for you to get that and talk to people. Say this is what you want to do. It's not just everybody that you must tell your purpose, but I
Absolutely.
believe that there are resourceful people, one or two people that when you talk to them, if you see that there's some people that when you engage them in conversation, there's this clarity and you always feel inspired,
Mm.
just tell them. And if you don't want to tell them it's you, give them a hypothetical situation. How would they advise someone that is in this position and hear what they have to say? Sometimes talking to somebody can just be your link to what you need. So the journey of purpose is not meant to be lonely. There are people that you need, and sometimes it is as you serve that you get the help that you need. So when you discover your purpose, begin to identify the skills that you need or the connections that you need and serve. Find a pathway to move from where you are to where you believe you're going. Identify the skill sets that you need. Be intentional about forming networks. If your purpose involves speaking to people and you're shy, go on YouTube, How Not
Mm.
to Be Shy. There are a wealth of resources everywhere. Talk to people, serve. There's just something profound about service that that I can't even begin to quantify it. So yeah, serve, talk to people, identify the skill sets that you need, and begin to chart a pathway towards attaining towards the goal that you want to be at.
Okay, to our audience out there, we've been on to this wonderful topic today, discovering your purpose. And our guest this evening has been actually dealing with what it means to discover your purpose and how to discover your purpose. What do you have passion for? What interests you as an individual? What do you love doing? If you're having any burden, why don't you talk to somebody? Why don't you get a mentor, somebody that probably when you talk to and you absolutely get clarity according to as our guest this evening. To talk to somebody, you have clarity. Continue to talk to such an individual. What do you love doing? What do you have passion for? And what gives you joy as an individual? Putting these things together will help you to probably discover your purpose, or you're there, you haven't discovered your purpose yet, you just still up and down. Today you're here, tomorrow you're there, you don't know what probably you want to do, you don't know how to the next step in life to take, or you are confused. Please, today is the right time that you have to stand up and think of what you have to do. Today is the right day that you need to arise from that your slumber and begin to do something meaningful with your life. And as you see that as you're beginning to do all that, this purpose that you've actually been looking at, if oh, this thing might look is very big, it's very mighty, how will I accomplish this mission? You begin to see that those big mountain, they will begin to become a plain before you. Yes, to our guest again this evening, um, we'll have a whole lot of questions. I think one of our viewers, they're asking if you're open for mentorship. And because they've seen that you have a lot of a lot of things to give back to the nation. So I guess this evening, are you open for mentorship? Because a lot of persons are actually asking if you're open for mentorship.
I'd say yes, although I don't really have a structured generic mentorship yet. I have mentees that are in my core field of biomedical engineering, but for that person there that wants to have a chat, that's fine. And all of that, I'm open to that. Yeah, just feel free to contact me on Instagram, because Facebook I breeze in and breeze out. So feel free to, yeah, send me a message or contact Tim and he will let me know.
Okay, you can contact me and I will reach out to our guest this evening. So, what book can you recommend for those who want to fulfill purpose, and how they can discover it?
Okay, yeah, I wanted to talk about resources earlier on, but I probably forgot, right? I can give at least 10 books.
Mm,
Yeah, you keep on reading and reading. So you know the person that made the famous quote, right? Miles Monroe, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
mm,
There's a wealth of resources that I believe that could help you with purpose is by Miles Monroe. We have In Pursuit of Purpose. We have The Principles and Power of Vision. Then he has two books on male and female, The Power and Purpose of Men, The Power and Purpose of Women,
yeah.
Understanding the Power and Purpose. Then he has some series on potential, Understanding Your Potential, Releasing Your Potential, Maximizing Your Potential. Sorry, that comment, it's In Pursuit of Purpose, not The Person of Purpose. It's,
Okay. In
so let
pursuit.
me go again. In Pursuit of Purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose, Understanding the Purpose and Power of Men, Understanding the Purpose and Power of Women, Understanding Your Potential, Releasing Your Potential, Maximizing Your Potential, then the Principles and Power of Vision. Then one of my mentors, um, Pastor Kofi Amoating, he also has a book called A Life for a Purpose. I would recommend that. Then there's some books that by Kenneth Hagin, like Plans, Purpose, and Pursuits.
Mm,
That's also a good book. How You Can Be Led by the Spirit of God is also a good book. Then there's this book by Derek Prince. Um, I have this book called To Conquer by Derek Prince. Called To Conquer. So Finding Your Assignment in the Kingdom of God. That's a very good book to read.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think even though I might not have a lot of books to recommend, I think I have one here, The Purpose Driven Life. So you can I think I've been looking at this book recently, and it has a lot to
Yeah, I read that
help.
book when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah, the book has, there's a lot of things that is written in this book that as a young boy, as a young girl, you are going to learn from it. Yes. Okay, let's look at the academical point of view now. Want to, okay, before we go into that, there's a question before, you probably can just look at it and answer us before we go to the academical point of view in discovery your purpose.
How can you advise young people to know how to draw the line between conviction and rebelliousness to counsel from elders and age group when confessing your dreams? First of all, don't confess your dreams to everybody.
Mm,
Keep some
mm,
things to yourself. It's not everybody that you must confess your dreams to. Then, between conviction and rebelliousness, you have to examine yourself. Where is that thing coming from? Like, are you coming up with these dreams and all because you just want to get out of being in a submissive position to your family? Or do you actually feel that if you want to make impact, your attitude that you display as somebody who wants to make impact is entirely different from an attitude of a rebellious person? So start by checking yourself. If you are convinced about something, yeah, you would prove that by your engagement, you prove that by the things you spend your time on. And when you're convinced, eventually you get people on board with you. But when you have a rebellion, you'd be like, I'm going to do this, whether you like it or not. There's an attitude that you display that would put people off. So, how do young people know how to draw the line? Let them look at themselves critically, examine themselves, and see where is this coming from? Do they just want to just get out of the roof because they don't want anybody to control them? I hear some people say that I'm going to set up a company for my child because I don't want them to be saying yes sir, yes sir. But if you set up the company for your child, you want somebody to tell them yes sir, but you don't want your child to be in that position to learn what it, you want your child to be a leader, but you don't want them to understand what it means to be a follower. So how can they be an effective leader if they've not really learned how to serve people? That's how they breed horrible bosses. So don't think that the way up is down. Be willing to serve, be willing to be teachable and to be pliable. When you're teachable, it's easier to let people know. It's easier to show people that you're convinced that when you're rebellious. So first of all, check yourself and say that if it's really coming from a place of conviction and not rebellion, then begin to do things that are in support, that encourage your conviction. And as you do that, people are, so this thing you're serious about it too. Then they'll begin to support you. Support can come from the beginning and it can come midway in the journey. And sometimes it may not come, but you don't have to be rebellious. When you're convinced of something, you go on the path that you are that you believe it's to help you. Some people will never support you, and that's okay. You have to be a person of purpose. You don't have to go with the crowd. You're going to lose relationships. People are going to misunderstand you. People are going to misquote you, and that's okay. You're not living your life for people. So you have to know and be convinced about what you're doing. So it's not always about sharing. You're not ice cream. It's not everybody that likes ice cream. Not everybody will like you. You're not chocolate, and that's fine.
Mm,
You have to be contented and okay with the fact that not everybody will like you. Not everybody would be on board with you, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah,
mhm.
they may get on board. That's wonderful if they do. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. But just don't be rebellious. Be convinced and do things to show where your conviction is coming from. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And also to our viewers, what on earth are you here for? You must understand that there's something that you're here for on earth. So you must also understand that life is a temporary assignment. Are you just going to pass through the life without imparting lives? Are you going to pass through a life without fulfilling your purpose? Are you going to pass through a life without leaving your footprint behind? Probably anything happens now. What are people going to remember you for? Are they going to say, oh, this person actually did a lot in making sure that this particular field of study, this particular environment is actually affected positively? So if you understand that life is a temporary assignment and you're on earth for a particular reason, then you will be able to fulfill your purpose and also affect everyone around you. Now to our guest once again. How can people discover their purpose academically? Because I, for one, as a young boy growing up, I've always loved to study law, probably because my parents feel, oh, our son can talk very well, he knows how to talk, and they a lot of persons suggested, oh, Tim, you should study law and all that. But I know, I love the law, yeah. But my mom will always tell you, law is not a thing for you because probably she has some things against lawyers. I don't know. So she has been saying, Tim, you will never study law. So along the line, after I wrote jam the first time, I wrote Hawaii the first time, I discovered that as I was trying to push through the path of law, it wasn't working out for me. It wasn't. Not because I wasn't brilliant. No, I can categorically say that. But I discovered that as I was no matter everything I tried doing, it wasn't working out. But later, I found myself studying mass communication. So how can
Why
people
did you
actually?
want to do law though? Why did you want to do law?
I just had passion for law. Like I
When you
love.
say you had a passion for law, what do you mean?
Okay, probably because I feel I want to um look cases. I want to look into cases. I see people being victimized. I see people they are just nobody is standing in for them. So I feel reading law will be an avenue for me to actually talk on behalf of people who don't have voices. They are quiet. So absolutely, I'm still doing what I felt I should have done before. So even whilst I studied mass comm, I'm still standing in for people, trying to. So I still see that despite I didn't study the law, the same vision that wanted me to study law, I'm still fulfilling the same vision and mission.
So
So
you've just answered the question on how to discover the purpose academic,
okay,
because I've spoken to quite a lot of young people, and you know how medicine is always a popular option. And I ask, okay, they say they want to study medicine in school, and be like, oh, that's fine. Why do you want to study medicine? Say, because I want to help people. Is
mm,
it only helping people? Is it only having a medical career via which you could help people? They'd be like, because I like it. What do you like about it? Because I want to help people. You can help people in other ways, and they'll be quiet. Why? Do you know the thing? Is because that is the only thing that you've been exposed to,
mm,
that you think that that is the only way that you could fulfill that passion. But then, as you said, you didn't study law, you studied mass comm, and you're still doing what you wanted to do. So it may not be in the costume of a lawyer, but still the passion is still being fulfilled. Academia is very broad and is very vast, and identify the core reasons why you want to do such a thing, and be open minded.
mm,
If you want to help and impact people and you feel you can speak, yes, law can be one option, but law is not the only option. And one thing that I tell young people, especially in Nigeria, is the NUC gives quota of admission to different universities.
yeah,
Millions of people write JAMB. Not everybody is going to get admission. Can you live with you not getting the course that you wanted? Can you live with you not having the admission the next year? Have some insurance choices. If you want to have a career in healthcare, for example, if you want to care for people, medicine is an option, but so is nursing, so is
mm,
physiotherapy. It doesn't mean that you cannot be a doctor, but if it is those generic things that you feel, caring and all, it is not only in medicine that you can do them. You can do them in a whole lot of other careers.
yeah,
If you feel that medicine is your calling, be determined and go on to it. But if you feel that there isn't that fineness that is there, that maybe it's the transferable skills that you need, and that the core, you'd be satisfied as a person because the core values that you have for a career in academia, for your academic journey, can be fulfilled by another course, please feel free to do it. You don't have to get hung up, and some people get some admission and they keep taking time and all of that. No, if you have the option to go on, please do. One of my mentees got admission into agric, and that wasn't what she wanted. But thankfully, her family were supportive. She did the agric. She got one of the best results, but she rewrote JAMB and she reapplied for biomedical engineering and got into biomedical engineering and is on course to graduate with a first class degree now.
mm,
That was what she wanted to do, but her path that wasn't straightforward. She had to do agric in the first year because the family didn't want her to be idle.
yeah,
But for some people, some people will be like, I know somebody that wanted medicine, but ended up studying microbiology, and they were like, thank God, because they could not stand blood. So
mm,
sometimes, when you have the core values that you want to take out of academia, I'm going to university to study because XYZ is what I want to do. It's okay to not study the course that you think, as far as the important things that you need from a university degree can be achieved in other courses, please feel free to do them. Okay. And sometimes it is what we're exposed to that we make the decision from. If you think the only people that can talk are lawyers, then law is the only thing that you're going to be thinking of that maybe would utilize your potential. But sometimes there is mass comm. Sometimes there are other careers that you could have, other courses that could just give you equally the same thing, not necessarily in the same packaging, but the key things that you're passionate about and that you want to see, they can be packaged in other courses. But because you are not open minded, because you just thought that is only one way that you can achieve that, then you are not open to embrace such. And maybe University of Jam decided to redirect you and make sure you do that. So if you get a different course from the one that you originally planned on getting. As far as once you go back, the key things that you need from that part of your life, you can be able to get them in another course. And sometimes you may just have to do that for now and still come back to revisit it. As I said, it's not a one size fits all. Some people just get it one try, some people get it after several tries, some people come back to it after another journey. I know somebody that studied medicine, I was being told, and then later went back to theater arts.
Yeah, yeah.
So for some, it's not a direct journey, but at the end of the day, even if, and some they just didn't know any better, they were just told study this. Some are naturally gifted, and they just did that. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just as long as you know that you come back by God's grace to back to the path of purpose, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much for that awesome answer. In a situation whereby you're not having a supportive family, on finding your academical purpose, probably you had wanted to study a particular course and your family is not backing you up to study that particular course. As an individual, what should that person do in such situation?
Um, I think it's that thing is contextual. So if you're, for example, living in this country and your family are not backing you and you're a citizen, you have permanent residency, the government can always give you
Absolutely, yeah.
student loans to support you.
In
So
Nigeria.
go ahead with that. But somebody in Nigeria, for example, the family is sponsoring them. Can you talk to somebody that can talk to your parents? Can you talk to somebody that can talk to your parents? And then you must have good reason. Ask somebody, a teacher or somebody that knows a lot of your potential and your passion. Have them talk to your parents. If they won't listen to that teacher, can you have a family member talk to your parents? If they're still not willing to listen, can you maybe apply for scholarships? Maybe if you get a scholarship somewhere and they see that you're really determined and they still wouldn't budge, do what you can within your power and just pray. And if they're insisting and all, then you have to decide, okay, do I want to not go to school now? Or would I just be willing to go through this now? I know you can't be idle. You can't be idle. We just pray that no matter the hardness of their heart, that there will be somebody that can talk to them and that they would bend. But if they're not willing, then you may have to go with what they advise at that point. And do you know what? Sometimes with young people, they could make the parents seem like the villain, but the reason for such causes are unfounded, and maybe the parents have genuine consent for not wanting them to study that. Let them have a conversation, let them sit down and talk, and maybe if the family are willing, let them involve a third party that would give a balanced, unbiased view, so that if the parents are biased to a cause for a certain reason and the young person is biased to a cause for a certain reason, let them have a third party that can see the points of both and can give a balanced opinion, that at the end of the day, let everybody's concerns be looked at, and let the best way forward be charted. But the person cannot be idle. There are a lot of things to distract young people in Nigeria. You don't just want them to be sitting at home doing nothing. So if all else fails, they may just have to do that course for that and later follow um follow the path that they want to. But at least they're following it from a more informed point. At least they've been skilled, they've gotten a degree, maybe they can finance the journey towards their purpose. So they shouldn't lose
Okay.
at all ends.
Okay. Okay. We want to look at the place of parenting in finding purpose. I, for one, I am number 7 in a family of 9. So, and probably I would not have been educated today because the reason why I decided to go to school was because I'm number 7 and number 1 to number 6, they are all graduates. So because of that, I just told myself, man, you just have to do this. You just have to try and do this. And my parents, at the same time, they were supportive. Like, they kept encouraging me, you have to go to school, you have to do this. And along the line, I discovered that immediately I started, man, in fact, I became a lover of school. And today, here am I. So, what is the place of parenting in finding purpose in the life of their children?
I think we can look at a case of ideal parenting and
Okay.
non-ideal parenting. An ideal parent should, in my opinion, help guide their children. They could be, because they've been with these children since birth, they'd be able to see the things that these children are good at. By interacting with the teachers, they should be able to find out the strengths of this child, the weaknesses of this child, and try to strengthen the loose areas in the weaknesses. And then, in addition, with the feedback from the teachers from the school, as well as their own research from what the potential is, harnessing all this information, they could be able to come with a range of options for the children, not to impose on them, but based on what they know this child is good at, the potentials
Yeah.
of the child, and what is available as far as job and career opportunities are concerned in the world. That's ideal parenting. We have the extreme side where the parents are not involved. They just dump everything over to the teacher, and the child comes to say, I want to be this, and they don't question whether the child, not that I'm saying that there are some people that do not have the capability to do anything,
Yeah.
but some people's strengths just lie elsewhere. I'll give you a practical example of my workplace in Nigeria. We've had people that have had to withdraw after 300 level. That's 3 to 4 years in school. Why? I remember talking with one, the mother, and she insisted that this is not the course for the child, but the child kept on saying no, this is what the child wanted to do. So the fees and the time investments and all of that for 3, 4 years has just gone down the drain. The child had to restart.
Mm.
If, for example, I don't know how involved these parents were in this child's life, but if they were more involved, maybe and they began they would have been, I think, in a greater position to help guide them. So I think the parents should guide their children towards purpose. Guidance is not imposition, because teenagers would rebel if you impose anything upon them. Okay? You talk to them, you make them see there are some courses that are obsolete that maybe the child wants to do, but they are not really opportunities that are abound there. And for them to create that is like reinventing a wheel that may not be, that does not need to be reinvented. So sit with the child, get feedback from their school, get feedback from what you know about them, find out about their interests, find out what they know about a career, talk with them, research. Parenting in this era
Yeah.
is not easy. Research, and then you can form maybe a short list of different courses or different careers that you think can fit in from what you know about all of them, and allow them to choose and find the pros and cons. The good thing with this day and age is we have a lot of people that are already in the fields that these children might be interested in. So have them look on LinkedIn profiles of different people that have attained a certain level of achievement in the career path that they're looking at, and let them see the journey that they took to be able to arrive at that, and let them see the commitment that it involves. That way, when the child makes the decision, they're making an informed decision, not just from a point of ignorance. So parenting, ideal parenting, has goes a long way in guiding.
Yeah.
Keyword guiding, because some parents just say, "This is what you're going to do." I did not become a lawyer and I wanted to be a lawyer, so you must be a
Mm.
lawyer. Wanting to live
Yeah.
their dream through the child, no. The child can finish the degree and come and give it to you. And we've heard stories that people have done
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
is guidance. They should guide them and help them make an informed choice. Informed research is important. Sitting down, deliberation, and coming out with an action plan is important. So they should guide them. They shouldn't leave off their child to do it because they're not as experienced. And they shouldn't leave it off to the teacher. It's not the teacher's job. All of them should come together, feedback from the teacher, feedback from the parents on research about prospective career fields based on the strengths and potentials and interests of their children, and let them harness all this and come up with a short list of courses that the child could do in school or follow
Thank you
as.
very much. To every parents out there, we've heard from guests this evening, you have a role to play in the life of your children. You have a role also to play in helping that your child discover his or her purpose in life. You have a role to play in assisting the child that you've given birth to. Don't leave your children in the hands of the teachers. Don't leave your children in the hands of the carers. No, you have a role to play as a parent in making sure that your children, they discover and they fulfill their purpose in life. So you have to do your own work. You have to play your own parts. You have to stand up to your responsibility as parents in making sure that your children, they discover their paths. Do not force them to study any course. Do not force them to do a particular thing. Don't tell them, oh, I didn't study this particular course, so you have to study this course. Oh, or I'm a doctor by profession, so my children, all the male children, they must all be medical doctors. No, children are different, and they have what they have passion for. They have that thing that gives them burden. They have that thing that they want to actually meet up with in life. So allow them to choose their path. Allow them to do what interests them. And while doing this, we'll discover that we'll begin to birth children that are a big solution to their various society. We don't want to bring up children that are problem in their various society. We don't want to bring up children that will become a great challenge in their various society, but rather we want to bring children that parents should be proud of. Parents can easily use their hand to beat their chest and say, that is my own son and that is my daughter. Why? Because they are meeting up their various duties as life entails. So back to our guest this evening. Before we round up this program, I want you to, what is your own encouragement to every young boy and every young girl out there who are finding it difficult to find their path in life, who is finding it difficult to meet, because there are a whole lot of persons watching us this evening. They're actually thinking, how do I find my path in life? How do I discover this particular purpose? What is your own advice for them before we go this evening?
Yeah, as I said earlier, when I was mentioning some points, I will just re-emphasize some of such and maybe explain a bit more. As I said earlier, the purpose of a thing is the reason for which it was created. So you are designed for a reason, and
Yeah.
when you make something, you have it with an intent in mind. So you're equipped as a person, as an individual, you're equipped for a reason. You have potentials in you, you have passion, you have giftings, you have desires in you that are there for a reason. One thing about purpose is this: it would affect our relationship with God, it will affect our relationship with people, and it would lead to our growth. So it would help us in relating with God. Why? Because we're aligning with the reason for which He has placed us on earth. It will help us in how we relate with people. Why? Because we are created to make a difference. And also it would lead to our growth. Why? Because the version of who we are now, it's not the best that we can be. Not really the best in terms of comparison with somebody else, but there's always room for growth and improvement as we strive for mastery. So somebody that wants to discover his purpose, as I said earlier, just ask your creator, and then don't just pray, just ask, then be observant and look within you. What are the deposits that you have, the potential, the talents, the things that you see, the problems that you notice outside? What is it? What is wrong? Why is this way? Why can't somebody do something about this? How can I fix this? All those questions, when you begin to see problems and you notice patterns within them, then it may be a key to your calling. The deposits in you, your talents, your gifts, your desires, your burdens, they could be a pointer to your purpose. Read, read a lot. I do not take I invest a lot. I've spent a lot of money in buying books and in reading them. So read, because as you read, it expands your imagination, it
Absolutely.
expands your mind, it exposes you to a whole lot of things, and it reading helps you travel to places that you are not physically at. So when you read, sometimes you'll be like, oh, so this is possible. So it helps you take off limitations on your mind. Read and listen. People have a valuable podcast giving information. There are lots of things on YouTube, lots of things on the web on how to be better, on how to learn courses, and a whole lot of things. So listen, watch valuable things, um, read autobiographies. You hear about people, they lived purposefully, they made an impact, they made a difference. Go and pick up autobiographies, go and pick up memoirs of people that you think have achieved purpose or have made a difference, and begin to see what is it about them, what is it about their journey, how can you learn from them, how can you adapt the lessons that they've learned, how can you harness and garner from their experiences. Watch videos, watch conversations, be involved in meaningful conversations, talking about purpose with like minded people. Or if you don't have like minded people, look for people on the web, serious minded people that you can talk to. Go to conferences. Purpose is not cheap. I pay to learn more. To maybe if you could
Oh,
have
I think we're having
certifications.
some network glitch there.
Can you hear me?
Our technical team, they're working on that, and they're bringing in our guests.
Hello?
Okay.
I'm online. I can hear you. Hello? Can you hear me?
So you can continue. Yeah, continue. I think
Oh,
the
okay.
network is okay now.
So yes, invest in yourself.
Very well, clearly. I can hear
Okay.
you.
Invest in yourself. Invest in your personal and professional development. Pay for courses. Pay to attend
Okay,
courses.
I think we're having some network. Oh, can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Yes, I can.
Okay, I think we're having some. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So read, listen, watch, pay to attend conferences, pay and invest in your life and in your
I
growth.
think we're having some.
Hello, is it still the network? Is it better now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
It's okay. You can continue.
Yeah. So it's just as I
Can you
said,
hear me?
okay, YouTube said they can hear me. Yeah. So yeah,
I
as I
think
mentioned, purpose is not cheap. Invest in your personal and in your professional development. If you have to attend conferences, please do. It will help your networking. It will help you to see people that have achieved and you could learn from their journey. Don't just be an awoof person. Don't just always just want everything to come to you freely. Sometimes you could pay. I heard about a coach that she said paid, is it 5,000 or $10,000 for some coaching? But do you know what? She coaches over 60. She has coached over 60,000 people now. So I'm sure when she was investing that money, it probably wasn't the most convenient for her, but she has been able to make it back. So please be willing to spend on yourself. Yeah, invest in yourself, grow, read, listen, network. Remember, purpose involves growth, so you'd have to grow. And also, some things about purpose that I just want to mention is there is a place for timing. Sometimes the time is not right for you to be to do some things. So guard against premature manifestation. Don't always be eager to just be popular or to be known. Why? Because if you're in a hurry to be popular, you may manifest at a time that you're not ripe and you may not be able to withstand the pressure that is associated with that position. So please know that with purpose, there is a place for timing. Your time will come, your big break will come. Be patient until you get to that level. And also, there's the place for location. Sometimes you may have to leave your comfort zone to go to another place. So be prepared for that. Remember that there is a preparation phase. you're not always ready for the complete you always prepare for the next phase. So ensure that you're investing in yourself. As I said, purpose is a journey, and when you want to go on a journey, the place that you're going to will determine the kind of clothes you will wear. It will determine what you're going to eat. Why? Because some people, when they eat something, um it can maybe upset them when they go on trips. Maybe they have motion sickness. So that thing that is unique to them is they may have to guard what they eat because of the journey that they're going to. So you would have to put checks in your life for discipline. You have to put checks in your life for growth, for character development. And there's also the place for location. So ensure that you grow as a person, you grow in character, you grow in networking, you grow in relationships. And it's not
Absolutely.
just about you. Ensure also that you serve. It's not just about you. Everybody must be doing some things for you. No. Also serve somebody's purpose. Why you will learn and you grow. You see how they're achieving things and how you could replicate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you learn how not to be a terrible leader by
Mm.
being under one.
Yeah.
So be willing to learn. Purpose involves growth. You will not stop growing. So keep investing in your personal and professional development. Keep growing. Just know that there's a preparation phase. Know that there's a place for location. You may have to leave your comfort zone. Know that there's a place for timing. Don't guard against premature manifestation. And remember, it is a journey. Remember, it is a journey. So don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Don't be too relaxed either. Remember, it is a journey that is leading towards fulfillment. So just enjoy the process as much as you can. And yeah,
Thank
that's
you
it.
very much for joining us this evening. It's been an awesome time in Satim's Media Studio this evening. So, as we have learned from our guest this evening, there is a place of confirming from God your purpose in life. You need to don't throw away the God factor in knowing your purpose in life. Purpose is the journey. You have to be open to growth along the journey to finding your purpose. Don't be too relaxed and don't be too put under pressure in making sure that you find your purpose. Don't actually say, "Oh, this my friend is doing well. This other one is doing well." Try as much as you can to be relaxed and don't be put in haste. Find your purpose. Ask God what your purpose is and uh, what He wants you to achieve in life. Okay, Miss Lydia, thank you for joining us this evening. Our guests, they are very happy that you were able to find out time to join us this evening. So we hope to have you some other time in the nearest future on this weekly talk show. It's been a wonderful time. So, what is your last word to our viewers before you go this evening?
Purpose is a journey towards fulfillment. Yeah. So don't get carried away or bogged down by some of the necessities of it that you completely forget to enjoy the process. So ensure that as you're it's ultimately for your fulfillment, so it is
Mm,
something you would find enjoyable for some parts, and for some parts it may be tough. You may have to go through a wilderness experience, but at the end of the day it's for you to be refined. Just remember, like diamond that is expensive and rare has undergone what, years being under pressure, but then when it comes out as a diamond, like it is priceless. So things of value undergo refinement. Things of
mm-hmm,
value would be subjected to different pressures, but remember, when they come out in such a way that everybody sees and recognizes their value. So the journey may be tough. You would have peaks, high moments that you love and thoroughly enjoy. You would have low moments that you just feel like giving up. Don't give up. Ensure you take breaks. Ensure you take rest. Ensure that you serve, feed into other people's vision, and ensure you avail yourself to be a blessing. And as you serve, you would have people that would also help serve your own. So purpose is interdependent. All of us help each other in a way we give and we take. So it's a symbiotic relationship that is ultimately towards our fulfillment. So it's a journey. Enjoy the process, grow, invest in yourself, but remember, make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much this evening for joining us. To all our viewers out there, don't forget, purpose is a journey, and you have to fulfill that purpose. After today, we want to start hearing testimonies of people fulfilling their purpose, discovering their purpose, and they are meeting up with what they have to do. So please, if you are watching us from our YouTube or from our Facebook page, don't forget to subscribe and put on your notification button. This is a weekly talk show from Sir Tim's Media. We want to liberate young boys and girls out there who are probably having this, they are having issues with their own life, trying to probably find their purpose, discover who they are and what they ought to do. So the essence of this space, or for this social media handle, is to make sure that people, they are living up to expectation. And last week it was an awesome time, and today is being a wonderful time. So don't forget, it's every Sunday. To join us again next Sunday for a wonderful session again. We'll be having a wonderful speaker, a wonderful guest next week Sunday, same time, same social media handle, and same place and same studio. Thank you to everyone that has been helping us, to our media crew. They are behind the scene. They have been doing a wonderful work. And also to our viewers out there, thank you for joining us this evening. And also to my family too, and to all our people. They'll be so much supportive. So have a good night's rest and have a great week ahead. And we'll see you same time, same place, same social media handle next week. Bye-bye.